So different video today. What we'll be talking about is Italian Special Forces camo. So this is something that it's not really widely known online, especially to audiences outside of Italy. My audience is mostly US based, so hopefully this is interesting. So what better way to start than with, I actually own a set of VegCam BDU, but what is it? It's seen online a good amount nowadays, but it's still quite unknown and confused. So basically, VegCam is the Italian Special Forces camo. So this is something like, imagine what multicam was before Big Army adopted it and the rest of the world, but it's a different story. All Italian Special Forces Tier 2 and 1 units are going to use VegCam in a multitude of scenarios. What it is a pattern made by Sod Gear, which is an Italian manufacturer. They own the rights to the fabric and the pattern, and they're the only one producing it. So they make the uniform, the gear, and all of that. VegCam is not to be confused with Multiland, which is a commercial pattern made by Defcon 5. So Defcon 5 is an Italian, I would say, lower tier gear manufacturers. They manufacture a lot of gears outside of Italy, but they made the fabric and the pattern of Multiland, which is a one-to-one vegetata pattern redone in multicam colors. That's a commercial pattern. There is no official use of it in Italian armed forces, unless I've been told there is some very few pictures floating around of some units using it as a transition before VegCam became the thing back then. The way Italy works is not exactly like the US. A lot of them are restricted, so they cannot even be sold to civilians, and they are technically not allowed to be owned by civilians. VegCam, this one I'm wearing, it is one of them. So anyway, this is personal preference. I really like VegCam. I think it's a really good take on multi-terrain pattern. I like the pattern, I like the coloration. I think it's a really cool pattern. And yeah, that's about it. It's extremely rare to find outside of Italy. This might be the only one in the entirety of the American continent. But even in Italy, it is quite difficult because, like you said, this is not something you can just go and buy. You either gotta find on the gray market by somebody on the inside that's gonna sell it to you and fell off a truck type of things. Moving on to another product by Sod Gear, this is gonna be IceCam. And what IceCam is a transitional pattern made for snowy and forest environments. So this pattern specifically takes the shapes of what to me seems like VegCam more than it does vegetata, and the coloration is for that transitional Arctic environment. So IceCam is it's widely used by special forces, but it is not restricted to special forces. It also is used by regular forces. This is a cool, interesting take on transitional pattern. I think personally, it does a great job at it, and I would say it is up there because transitional patterns are, I think, very effective when done right. And one country that nails this is Finland. Finland has extremely good transitional patterns, in my opinion. I forgot the name, it's like M05 maybe, but maybe that's another one. And IceCam is a quite good looking pattern. I think they did a good job. It is what it seems to be like a 4-color pattern. You have the green, the brown, the dark brown, and the white. So it is very ideal in that northern Italian alpine climate where it is not only fully white snow covered, but it is kind of a lower altitude, kind of in between. And there's only very few pictures and references showing it being used, but it is out there. It is made by Sod Gear, and that's something else that I don't think is really known or seen too much outside of people that do know. So another one that has a bit of more of a fuzzy history is Altimetrico, which is a multi-terrain pattern that started some trials a few years back, and now a version of it is becoming the official issued pattern of the standard Italian army. So the Italian army is phasing vegetata out to this new pattern. The thing is that it is not exactly the same pattern. Pretty much there was a trial pattern that came around and it had a slightly different coloration than what it is now being officially the new pattern. So the new pattern is just called the multi-terrain pattern, and it is slightly more different from some of the pictures I've seen. It is kind of difficult to get different sometimes, but it is different. The thing with Altimetrico, there is different trial versions, which I do not recognize all. I heard something about some of the pieces were firstly made by a commercial outdoors company, and then special forces units were kind of using it here and there. They mostly came about as cold weather pieces, and there is a couple pictures floating around where they're using it, and that's pretty much kind of the story that I go. And it's something that I guess it is very much unknown to general audiences, even people that do like camouflage and uniforms and gear and all of that. So my personal opinion on it, cool looking pattern. It kind of one of those things that it grows on you. And now since we're here touching on the multi-terrain pattern of the actual Italian army, I think it's a step in the right direction. Vegetata is a really good pattern, and it has been for the past 20 years. And you can always make the argument that, okay, yeah, it's been 20 years. Money has to circulate. It's time for a new pattern. It's time for a new look, whether or not how effective it was. But in overall, I think it is a good direction. I like the pattern. I don't know how it performs in X environment because I haven't seen any test. I haven't tested it myself, so I can't say. But I do think it looks good just from a looks perspective. I think it will look really good with like for example Ranger green gear. I think it will look really good. I think you can get away with multi-cam gear too. Obviously that's nothing you're gonna see in regular Italian forces, right? Because it's probably not allowed in a lot of department, but you're gonna see a lot of Ranger green, you're gonna see a lot of Coyote gear. And then we'll see, they're probably gonna start making specific gear in the pattern with time. There's probably gonna be plate carriers, pouches, and things like that made in the pattern. But overall, good looking pattern. The actual design elements are similar to Vegicam. They're smaller design elements, organic shape, no digital anything, which is a plus for me. Let's touch really quickly on one more pattern. This is nothing special. It's just something that doesn't really get seen a lot either, and that is just a very much Arctic version of Vegetata, and this is used by Italian infantry in general. It's not a restricted pattern of any means. This is just Vegetata. It's two color. It uses the organic shapes of Vegetata in a dark gray, and then the rest of it is just flat white. So a purely Arctic flat white pattern with some shading of color, which I don't know, it's pretty simple. I like it. I mean, I think the actual organic elements of the Vegetata pattern are really good, and they're good design because they blend with nature really well. Hopefully you guys like this insight. It's not meant to be a all-inclusive, know-it-all type of historical documentation by any means. This is just some yapping, so hope you guys appreciate it. Something different, simple video. Takes me a few minutes to edit and put together, but it's something. Anyway, yeah, so let me know what you think, which is your favorite, and I'll see you in the next one.